welcome everyone. Anga, over to you.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited. I was very happy to connect with all of these speakers. I got a lot of your contacts from Kevin, Ty, and he's amazing. So I'm really happy that he was able to connect me to everyone here today. More than anything, guys, do not worry, do not be shy. Just share your story. We actually really want to network and grow our network across Africa. So this is a great platform. And hopefully many of our people that are watching today and will be watching on the YouTube recorded session will be able to know more about your organizations and the great work that you're doing in your respective countries. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We have amazing panelists that are really global mindsets, and I really think they'll have some good information to share with you guys today. So yeah, let's go straight into it, and I'm excited to hear what you guys are all doing. Thanks.
Wonderful. So we're going to follow the order that was in the flyer. So we're going to start with Sadrach. Over to you.
All right, thank you very much. Can you do a thumbs up if everything is fine? You can hear me very well.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Sadrach Nirere from Uganda, and I'm an environmental activist. And most of my work involved into the End Plastic Pollution Uganda initiative, which I founded just a year ago. And the End Plastic Pollution initiative is focusing mainly on plastic pollution. I'm really glad to be part of this webinar, and thanks to Kevin and thanks to everyone that has joined this webinar today. And I'm looking forward to sharing with you more, and also my appreciation to the Africa West Academy and the Africa Youth West Network for hosting this. And it's really very good to see that we have such conversations around this very important topic for our continent. Thank you very much. My presentation is a bit short, but I will be able to share with you a little bit of what we do and why is it important and what many youth can do and how basically this we can come up together to all do something good. Let's start. Thank you. So the End Plastic Pollution is a movement. We are an organization that is youth-led, but we do run a model of a movement with a major aim of demanding greater corporate action and responsibility from companies that are generating plastics. So we do focus our major work on raising this action from companies and why they should take action. So we do inform the process by collecting data around company contribution on plastic pollution. So we have tried to mobilize ourselves into over 152 young people with over 5,000 students in 25 schools and 4 universities. And we are trying to traverse the country. So far, we've covered over 36 districts. And through this, we are educating and empowering people, supporting communities, and also exposing companies, collecting data, and trying to inform the entire process of plastic pollution in Uganda. As we do also cleanups to help communities also basically understand the problem. Next slide, please. So I think these are our major objectives, but they are basically also trying to break down the work that we are doing. And because we are pushing companies and corporations to change basically their business systems and how they are doing business. So we are trying to push the issue of reducing, they should reduce the amount of plastic, single-use plastic they are producing, and also try to reveal how much of this single-use plastic they are producing. But also we are looking at companies redesigning the way they are packaging our favorite brands that we are consuming, and how best these designs can help to reduce the use of extra plastic for consuming that product. We are looking at the issue of the climate crisis, because as more companies produce plastics, they are contributing directly to this problem. And we are trying to see that we raise attention to this, combining the two effects to see that people get to understand this problem and companies can align their climate actions towards ending plastic pollution and vice versa. We're also promoting action and rallying people to add their voices together to this. And also through our work, we are making reports and collecting data to inform policy making processes on the use and manufacturing of these plastics. As we do that, we are also trying to bring youth together to share ideas on how we can promote more awareness, information sharing, So we have many youth coming together to do a lot of very cool things around data, and we have now partnered with a local journalist network called Informal, and we have come up with a competition on how youth can communicate plastic pollution in the Nile Basin. So they are coming with ideas like videos, articles, and all this. We are trying to see how we expand this space of information sharing. Thank you very much. We can go to the next slide. So this is a little bit of what we do. It's imagery a bit, but it just showcases a little of what we have done. The grant audits, supporting communities with metallic plastic bins. We posted a lot of events around the issue, including the flip-floppy expedition in Uganda. And we also have a book where people can add their voices to the fight of plastic pollution. And the guy you're seeing there is a big hip hop artist, an award-winning hip hop artist in East Africa called Navio, and is signing our People's Voice book. And through this, we are trying to see that we bring also artists, celebrities together to add on what we are doing, and people can get to understand that, hey, single-use plastic or plastic pollution is a problem in Uganda, and they can get to understand it. So we are in universities, we are in schools, and some of the actions of what we are doing. Thank you very much. Next slide. So this webinar, when I was approached, we were told to look into the issue of youth and environment, and I wanted to focus my presentation on the issue of plastic, which I'm really very passionate about. Plastic as a problem is really a problem that Africa should look at as a continent in general, because we are losing our natural environment. We have plastic everywhere. It's in our lakes, it is in our villages, it is in our cities, in our towns, in our rivers. And all this is posing a very big challenge that is affecting us to even how we are living as individuals. And it's one of the problems that as Africa develops, it is one problem that is going to be increasing if it is not addressed, and then it will be cutting the speed of development, because we have a very huge cost to cover up when we are cleaning up plastic everywhere. So we want to say that this problem has extended to the issue of companies themselves, because now many sub-Saharan countries have just discovered oil, and we are seeing that oil is one of the biggest input in the manufacturing of plastics. How is Africa prepared for this, and how are the youth trying to see where the fossil fuel industry is going? Because it is shifting an industry, a consumer goods industry, which everyone is attached to. So we have to be thinking way forward on how to see that these challenges are addressed, and these challenges are supposed to be sufficiently given solutions, either from government, but also from the corporations that are causing these problems. So next slide. This is a little bit of what is going, but we can go to the next slide. This is a river, this is a lake, this is plastic everywhere in our community. And it is something which is really devastating. Imagine how we are losing all this beauty, the nature of this place, how many birds are losing their habitats, how many fish is going to ingest this plastic, and how all this is really, really going to be a problem. So this is where you really have to come in and say, we can do something. And this problem extends further to the climate problem. Next slide. So plastic pollution, I think most of this we have talked about them, but it goes further to our health as people, because as most of the plastic is being ingested by the fish that we eat, but also as you use plastic as looks like my but also as you use plastic as a material itself, it is something that is breakable and it degrades as you keep using it. So you can show this microplastic as an individual. It gets into your body system. So there is a lot of serious health that we are facing as people. And Africa has a very, very enormous young population. We have to focus on our health for us to have for us to contribute to the shift of Africa to the next step. So plastic is one of the health hazards that we have to look into, how we are living with it and how we are addressing the issues that it is coming along with it. Likewise, the burning of this plastic is exacerbating the climate crisis, but also it is giving off toxic gases which we inhale, and most of this is burnt into cities. So imagine the Kampala city, Nairobi city, all these cities with these big dumping sites, they are burning up, and you're inhaling all that. This is not the cities Africa should be having in future. So we have to look into this. Like I noted before, the cost of cleanup for our countries is really too much. And if we can quantify our work into the issues of plastic and how it can contribute to our economy, and we can invest into these solutions, it can actually lessen this cost of cleanup. But because we are not addressing this issue urgently the way it is needed, Africa is faced by a huge cost of cleanup. So we want to develop, but again, we are creating an enormous problem that is going to take away all the revenue that we collect. It's going to take away all it's going to be part of our budgets, request budgets and funding, donations and aids for us to invest in waste management. This is not what Africa should be looking for. We should stop asking for aid for waste management or solid management for municipal towns or cities. We should be focusing this money on something else. So this cost of cleanup is lagging Africa behind. We are developing slowly because you have a lot to address. You have a lot of problems to address in within the community created by an environmental effect of plastic. So looking at this, what can young people do? Because this is us here, and we are trying to see how these issues can be addressed by a population like us. Next. So one thing is for young people to add their voices together in demand for changes in the business system that causes this destruction. Because we do know that we are running on a linear. We are running on a linear. Can you hear me, please? Say something.
Yes, we can hear you. Your video does seem to have gone off, but that's fine. We can still hear you. All right.
Okay, cool. So we are running on a linear business system whereby it's produce, use, and dispose. This is something that should stop. And it is young people that should come up and be able to be part of the designs, the system changes within businesses before they come to the consumer to see that we end this and demand for policies that put these solutions right to the points that we need them to work for. Next slide, please. So we need to see that youth also take action beyond the awareness, because if you step to the awareness platforms without you coming up to take action and to show people that, hey, this is what is supposed to be done, it is something that will not be that much effective. So we have to start initiatives. If you can start a business that can innovatively solve a challenge in your community, let it be plastic pollution, let it be climate change, try to see that this initiative comes to life. Do not just sit there and do nothing as your community is breaking down, because it is you who will be actually breaking down your own system to survive. So we have to see that African youth can be able to step off the awareness ladder, but also jump to spaces where they can grow businesses and they can grow initiatives, enterprises that can enable them to offer solutions to this. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, thank you. Number 3, youth need to get into learning spaces that can enable them access this information and knowledge, the practical skills that you need to promote, so that you can be part of the solutions that are promoting the sustainability that Africa is looking for. So if we are looking at our nations become sustainable, are you part of the people with businesses in the sectors that are pushing sustainability? So you have to think about this. These are some of the examples of the work that we are doing in Uganda together with Geekulha. Together with our friends at Geekulha, we presented this same idea at the recent Flippy Floppy expedition, where we are using plastic as eco bricks to build water tanks for people in many communities. This is not a solution to ending plastic, but this is one way that we can stop the plastic that we have collected in communities from getting back to where we have got it from. But these are initiatives also, when they are scaled up and put effectively in line with the producers and the implementers in communities, or implemented by the businesses themselves, they can be well enough to reduce the problem. So we need to explore what is underlying in the new models that the world is yearning for, Africa is yearning for, being sustainable, being models like a circular economy. So how can this be embedded in our ideas as young people? And we see that we are developing our nations, but also we are growing enterprises that are offering solutions to the problems within our communities. So let us also learn, because learning is how you explore a lot of these things. So next slide, which I think is the last one.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Sadrach.
very much. Thank you very much. I'm glad to share this with you. My video off, but no worries. Thank you very much. I'm glad to have been part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sadrach. It's great to hear your sort of view of what's happening in Uganda, and really a lot of the points that you brought up are incredibly valid with the circular economy and the cost of plastic on the climate crisis. So it was really great to hear. We're going to go over to Mary now. Mary, whenever you're ready to share your slides. I do see that we're just slightly a little bit behind schedule, just to bear that in mind.
Hi everyone. Okay, I am Mary Shirima from Mozambique. I'm presenting CHePEA program. I'm a student. I'm doing environmental engineering degree, and by now I am doing my final research. And if God wishes, November this year, I'll be defending my research. So I am going to present about CHePEA and plastic pollution in Africa. So what is CHePEA? CHePEA is an initiative which I started. It's a program which means clean and healthy planet Earth for all. And who are we? CHePEA, it's a community. It's an environmental awareness and conservation program. It's a green community which is concerning with the health of the planet, with all its belongings, the plants, the animals, without forgetting the human well-being. It's a community for all the people who are willing to volunteer on preserving and protecting the planet Earth. And why CHePEA? Hearing more news about the environment problems made me, as a founder of CHePEA, want to contribute something to conserve the planet. And as we know that there are a lot of problems happening on our planet, and these problems are linked with each other. So on my way to find something when I was finding something that I can do so as I can contribute to save the planet, I found that because all the organizations around the earth, what they are doing, the goal was to save the planet. And on our way to save the planet, what do we want? We have a problem. We have to deal with the problem. We have to find a solution so as we can have something better. So when I was thinking about that, I came up with the suggestion of clean and healthy planet Earth for all. And it was only a program which I started because I believe that two heads are better than one. So on my way to, when I was thinking about that, I started Clean and Health Planet for All, giving awareness to people, giving the awareness to people about the problems which are happening. Because I believe that so as we can solve something, we have to understand what the problem is so as you can bring solution. You cannot bring solution to something which you do not understand. So my first step was to create awareness, to tell the people what the problem is. Then when you tell the people what the problem is and give them, then after that you give them space to suggest what do they think as a solution to solve the problem. So this CHePEA is a community for all the people who understand the problem and are willing to bring something for a betterment of the planet. And as I've said earlier, CHePEA is only a program, but on our way forward, we would like to register it as an international organization. And here are the proposed mission, vision, and objectives. CHePEA has a dream. What is the dream of CHePEA? It's having a planet Earth, a health planet for all the people to fulfill their basic needs without overlooking the possibility of the future generation to fulfill their needs. So on our way to meet this, we have a mission, which is to strive, what do they think as a solution to solve the problem? So this CHePEA on protecting the planet. And here is the objective of CHePEA, willing to bring something for a betterment of the planet. And as I've said earlier, CHePEA is only program, but on our way forward, we would like to register it as an international organization. And here are the proposed mission, vision, and objectives. So the CHePEA has a dream. What is the dream of CHePEA? It's having a planet Earth, a health planet for all the people to fulfill their basic needs without overlooking the possibility of the future generation to fulfill their needs. So on our way to meet this dream, we have a mission which is to strive to prepare an educated, healthy, and strongest green community, which is responsible and it's engaged itself in providing and implementing solutions on protecting the planet. And here is the objective of CHePEA. So CHePEA, as CHePEA, it does not deal with only one problem, environmental problem, because as I've said earlier, all the environmental problems are linked to each other. You cannot talk about climate change without talking about plastic pollution. You cannot talk about biodiversity loss without talking about deforestation and climate change. So what we need a health planet. We need a clean, not only clean and health planet. So we have to deal with all the problems, not all of them at the same time, because we need to have one step at a time. So, but at least you deal with the problem at large so as you can have a better environment. And CHePEA also deals with human well-being. We concerned about the relationship of the people, the families, one member of the family with another. We are interested with the emotional and physical health of the people. We're also interested with the work and recreation, the safety of the people in their work areas, and gender equality and empowerment. These are our way forward, CHePEA. Currently, CHePEA has only 2 members, because when I was starting, I tried to invite people. I shared my dream, what do I need, but a lot of the people, because I'm surrounded with the students, most of them were thinking about money. They were asking me, will we be paid? I cannot sacrifice, so for while I'm receiving nothing. So I did not get discouraged, because I started CHePEA on 2nd of December last year. And before I started, I shared my dream with the people, but I only meet discouragement. But with those discouragements, I did not decide to stop what I was dreaming. I decided to start it by myself, having a way forward. And when the people, I believe that when I do something, the people will come after it. So I decided to stop it, to start it. And these are my way forward. I'm dreaming on registering CHePEA as the world's largest and most diverse environment organization for all the people from the different parts of the world. As you have seen before, we are having a lot of different parts of the environment to deal with. So we'll be introducing projects in each area, and those projects, the CHePEA will be contracting expertise who are willing to volunteer to act for the betterment of the planet, and launching a CHePEA summit, whereby it will be our annual climate event. Talking about plastic pollution is a global crisis. It's an environmental crisis, and we all know that plastic as a plastic is cheap to produce, cheap to use, but the end of it is really a problem, because plastic as a plastic, it takes 500 to 1,000 years to complete degrade. Imagine 500 to 1,000 years. Only one person can live maybe maximum 100 years. So you can imagine a plastic has I'm not finding a proper way to say in English, but the plastic as a plastic, it's a problem. Okay, talking about plastic pollution in Africa, we all know Africa, almost all the countries in Africa are developing countries. We are on our way to developing. So those developed countries are importing, they are exporting the plastic, because when one company do something and that thing is not good for the environment, when you speak about the problem, they always find a way to convince you that we are dealing with that problem so as they can continue to make profit. So with plastic, those plastic companies, when they started hearing about the pollution, they decided that all plastic can be recycled, all plastic can have another use, but recycling plastic, recycled plastic has no value, has no, I don't know how to say it in English, but it has no...
If you want some, se você precisar de ajuda, pode falar em português que eu te ajudo a traduzir.
Ok, tá bem. Obrigada. Okay, so when you recycle plastic, you reduce its quality. So the new plastic is better than the recycled one. So these companies speaks about recycling because they are only worried about making profit. But even when you recycle plastic, still its hand is a problem, because I've already said before, the plastic, so as it can completely degrade, it needs 500 to 100 years. So plastic is really a problem. And talking about Africa, a lot of countries decided to ban single-use plastics. But even when I brought here some examples, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, Morocco, Rwanda was the first one worldwide. It banned single-use plastic in 2008. But not only single-use plastic is a problem. Plastic as a plastic is a problem. It's a problem because the primary material to produce plastic is, so it's a fossil fuel, a petrol, it's oil. So when you extract it, you emit greenhouse gases. When you produce plastic, you also emit greenhouse gases. And these gases are the great contributors to climate change. So as you can see, plastic pollution, plastic pollutes, it pollutes land, it pollutes oceans, oceans which are seas, and it's plastic pollution pollutes land, pollute water, and pollute the air. So it's really a problem. And when you want to solve a problem, so as you can have a real solution, you have to solve a particular from its roots. So this plastic, recycling plastic is not, it's a solution, but it's not a real solution. What we need to have, we have to stop, we have to solve the plastic. Yeah, it's difficult because we are not in that condition to stop using plastics. But if you can stop, you can refuse using the plastic, or you can reduce it. And in this slide, I have tried to bring some innovative solutions to plastic. Yeah, I love this woman. She's a material engineer, Zambi Mate. Decided to drop the work which she was doing because real plastic, as I've explained, it's really a problem. So these bricks, they're eco bricks, she's doing them, she's making them the materials she's using the plastics mixed with the other things to make these bricks. Why have I brought these two? I have brought these eco bricks and this house. It's because a lot of us are only worried about cleaning. We clean the mess, but after cleaning, where do we take the trash? Where do we take them? We have to think. We do not have only to think about cleaning. We have to think about, okay, I have cleaned. then this, where do I take it? As you have seen, plastic, southern years are real a lot. So on cleaning, we do not have to base only on cleaning. We also have to base on, we have to find solution on that trash which we have cleaned. And these are some innovative solutions which I have brought. And what can I encourage one who wants to start something about environment? As I've said before, till now, we are only 2 people in CHePEA. I am the founder, the manager, and my graphic designer. And I've already prepared 2 campaigns, cleanup campaigns. And when I prepare them, I invite people. Thanks to God, people are willing to clean and are willing to change, but there is that discouragement, that which you think that what I'm contributing is too small, then you don't do it. What I want to encourage, everyone is, when you have a chance to do something good about environment, do it. Don't be discouraged.
Thank you, Mary. Obrigado. I think we just need to move on to the next presentation, but then we'll come back around for the panel session at the end. But thank you. I think we're going to hand over now to Solomon, who's also going to share. But thank you so much, Mary. It's certainly important that we find alternative uses for waste rather than landfill and burning and things like that. So we definitely do need a variety of options.
Okay, it's all right. You can do the sharing. So once again, thank you for organizing this. I hope everyone is getting me clearly. Okay, thank you. I'm called Solomon Ayeware. I'm a civil and environmental engineer by profession, but also a leader and entrepreneur. I was supposed to have this presentation with Alum Evelyn, but she got away, but I will handle. So the regional coordinator Saving Earth Africa. I think we can go to the next slide, please. So yeah, solid waste management presents a major challenge for many municipal authorities in Uganda, where rapid growth, social and cultural change, widespread poverty, inadequate and weak enforcement capacity, and limited financial capacity all contribute to environmental degradation and waste disposal challenges. Now about this, globally, cities generate about 1.3 billion tons of solid waste per year, and this volume is expected to rise to over 2.2 billion tons by 2025. And as countries continue to develop, you notice that solid waste generation is also keeps rising, and Uganda is also one of those developing countries. And as a matter of fact, it's facing rapid urbanization, which is at 5.1% per annum. Now, rapid urbanization also leads to overcrowding and development of slum areas, and we all know that slums face the biggest challenges when it comes to solid waste management. In a study that was conducted in 2015 in 2 slum areas in central Uganda, one was Geekulha in Kampala, and the one was called Chikoza in Mukono. This study found out that much of the solid waste comes from food remains and plastics, composing about 38% and 37% respectively. Waste collection is still lacking because people still practice open dumping, burning, and a meager 8.8% are the ones practicing composting. Separation is done, but at a very low scale. Open dumping is at 35.9% and burning is at 27%. All these are hazardous practices in relation to the environment. And by the end of this study, it was concluded that much as the community members are willing to adopt proper solid waste management practices, the practices there are so much reflective of environmental damage. So there is need for authorities to engage residents of slums in order to improve their practices. Now we can go to the next slide. Now about Saving Earth Africa, we are a youth-led organization We are composed of majorly young people. Some of them are actually still university students. Even myself, I'm still a youth, age just 24, but we are taking on the mantle to innovate solutions to societal problems such as waste management. It espouses diversity in gender and age. Why are we gender sensitive? We all know that that from the Dublin guiding principles, the water principles, principle number 3 to be specific, says that women play a central role in the provision, management, and safeguarding of water. And so we find it so prudent to include women in this noble cause. And our vision is to create an environment worth living in today and for the future generations. In simple terms, it's registering sustainable development that does not compromise the well-being of future generations. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so our areas of focus are: 1, environmental quality management, climate change, renewable energy, water resources management, solid waste management, and of course research. Now, about climate change, we realize that the world is coming together in order to come to zero emissions. We know that over 51 billion tons of carbon emissions and its equivalents, of course, is produced per annum, and everyone in this world should be working towards reducing their carbon footprint. And so we are fostering research within our organization in order to pay attention to things such as manufacturing industries, to see how we can reduce carbon. We are also keeping track of global innovations. For example, the breakthrough technologies which are paying more attention to direct air capture, carbon capturing devices, because you realize that climate change is more about temperature. You realize that when greenhouse gases are closer to the surface, to the land surface, they tend to trap warm air closer to the regions that are within or near to the Earth's surface, and this increases temperature. So we are working, but also paying close attention to technologies geared towards carbon capture. Then about solid waste management, I will delve into the intricacies of that when I get to our project. About water resources management, Saving Earth Africa is working in a close partnership with the Lake Victoria Region Local Authorities Corporation in order to curb down the pollution entering the lake. I will talk more about this when we get to our project. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now this is the project. Lake Victoria is Africa's largest freshwater lake. In East Africa alone, the lake supports livelihoods of over 35 million people, and now this is in addition to the aquatic life. We have aquatic plants, we have aquatic animals. Now these other 35 million derive their livelihoods from Lake Victoria through activities such as fishing and very many other economic activities. Needless to add, the lake has an impact on other countries such as Egypt, Ethiopia, and Sudan. It's the source of the world's longest river in the world, the Nipe. So as development goes on, the lake continues to be subjected to pollution that results from human activities such as agriculture, industrialization, to mention but just a few, much of which happens in the urban centers which are situated within the Lake Victoria region, within that catchment area, especially Wakiso, Entebbe, Kampala, those areas, and Jinja. So we believe that through proper solid waste management, the team at Saving Earth Africa can innovate or design proper solid waste management systems within the Lake Victoria Basin region. Let's first go to the next slide. And now the methodology is as follows. We through installation of solid waste management systems in areas that are close to the lake, we believe that we can prevent the solid waste from getting dumped into drainage channels and streams, which eventually drain into the lake. We realize that even if we go to the lake and now collect the waste on the lake shores, we cannot prevent the waste from coming. So thinking is installing proper waste management systems at the points of generation, at these restaurants, in these markets, in working hand in hand with corporate companies, the factories, the industries that are situated within that area. We are also working on community-based activities, especially outreaches, and this also helps us to meet point number 3, sensitization and education programs. Saving Earth Africa has a long strategic plan to work in close partnership with schools. Why are we working with schools? Because we believe that changing minds begins from education institutions, because these are the conduits of knowledge. What you study when you are still young stays at the back of your mind. We believe that it has an effect on one's behavioral mechanism. That's why we want to target schools, especially schools that accommodate young people, young kids. For example, I can give you an example. We learned in P1 that when you're crossing the road, you look left, right, and left again before you can cross again, and it has stuck in our minds. So we believe that behavior, we can change the mindsets and behavior of young people at a young age, so that they can grow with caution when it comes to the environmental partnerships. At the beginning of the lockdown, at the beginning of the 42-day lockdown, which was imposed some months back, we partnered with youth-led organizations on a campaign to educate. It's actually still ongoing. We partnered with quite a number of youth-led organizations. As you will be seeing in the subsequent slides, we partnered with them on a campaign to educate, to get some solutions from within the communities that are affected by this pollution, in order to bring together all these ideas and come up with the most practicable solutions. Let's first go to the next slide. Yeah, so our major partner on this detoxing Lake Victoria project is Lake Victoria Region Local Authorities Corporation. Like I had earlier mentioned, we actually have a 10-year. We are working with them on a 10-year contract, and we have full backing of that authority. And we believe that this consolidates our social acceptance, and it also enforces our social image. We have Faraja Africa Foundation. It's also a youth-led organization focusing more on advocacy. Advocacy campaigns are geared towards social economic transformation. We have the Africa Network Forum. It's situated in Kenya. We are working in close association with it. We have the Scholar Made Africa, also in Kenya. Now, under LIVRAC, all municipal councils that are in the Lake Victoria Basin region, right from Barara up to Busia, most of them are signatories to LIVRAC. Now, those consequently become our partners. So we have 300 municipal councils working in close partnership with us. We have Youth Go Green Uganda, we have Smart Youth Network Uganda, and we have Zaleka Youth Organization Malawi. Some of these have been working in partnership with us on our campaign to save Lake Victoria. It's just an online campaign because the lockdown the lockdown limits our movement and other physical interactions. Let's go to the next slide, please. Yeah, we intend to collect this waste and use it in production of fuel briquettes. Now, when we produce these fuel briquettes, we shall be able to find a substitute for charcoal, which is got from trees. So in the due course, you will realize that we are killing two birds with one stone. One, we are controlling waste, we are curbing down pollution, but also finding another way to do what? To control deforestation. We shall also engage into production of fertilizers for agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of Uganda's economy. It contributes over 70% to the national gross domestic product. So we believe that if we can use some of this waste, organic waste, to manufacture fertilizers, we can also boost the agriculture sector. So this is a project that is going to tackle very many areas. We have green building. By green building, I mean using some of the solid waste. I like that Mary mentioned using plastic waste in construction of infrastructure. I also saw Nirere Sadrach with such an initiative, and I was so glad that they are already taking that up, and I hope and believe that we can work together to ensure that we achieve some of these goals. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, now the environmental and social impact of the project will be in such a way that we shall create jobs for youth and women. Now, in this process of collecting waste, in the processes of composting, manufacture of fertilizers, manufacture of briquettes, we shall be creating jobs for unemployed youths. You realize that the unemployment rate in Uganda is rising rapidly. Many youths keep on saying they are unemployed, and we believe that this can be a source of employment for youth. And because we are sensitive on things like gender equality, we are highly considering women because we believe that they should also be a part of the decision makers in any social development. Agriculture, already we shall be producing fertilizers, which will, I request that we first go to the previous slide. We have agriculture, but anyway, checking deforestation, I already talked about it. Then access to clean water, since we are controlling pollution entering the lake, we shall have more access to clean water. Why? The National Water National Water and Sewage Corporation, which supplies water to many people in the city, extracts this water from Lake Victoria. We believe that when we curb down pollution, the costs incurred in the treatment process will reduce. You realize that when the costs are high, these high costs are then transferred to the final consumers, which limits access to clean water. So we believe that when we curb down the pollution, we can also have an effect on the cost of clean water. Let's go to the next slide. Our future prospects, of course, since the organization is going to be generating revenue through sale of briquettes, sale of fertilizers, to mention but just a few, and other partnerships, grants, and mesh and whatnot, we hope to engage on a campaign to plant 100 million trees in the Lake Victoria Basin region. This will go a long way in restoring the biodiversity. We want to put up training hubs to train people so that we have a generation that is well versed with issues to do with environmental conservation. We also want to invest in renewable energy so that we can create a substitute for fossil fuel energy, because fossil fuel energy contributes to climate change. We believe that once we have substitutes, we can strike a balance between renewable energy and fossil fuel energy. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, as you can see, this project is going to tackle a number of issues: pollution, unemployment, limited access to clean water, to mention but a few. Its proper execution shall have a positive impact on all those sectors that I mentioned in the slide. And from a sustainable perspective, revenue generated will be used to meet operational costs of the organization. And as I conclude, I want to say this: there are over 1.3 billion people in Africa. 75% of those is below the age of 35. They are young people. They are youth. We are the young people. This means that when it comes to Africa, we, the young people, are the major stakeholders. The time is now. We have arrived. We have the opportunity to make a statement as regards the development of our continent. We can achieve this, but that's on principle that we develop the right mindset, which is a solution-oriented mindset, equip ourselves with the relevant knowledge, especially about Africa. Open conversation geared towards socio-economic transformation, and above all, work in collaboration with one another. Why? Because what unites us is far more important than what has been dividing us for a long, long time. Let's be united by ideas, my fellow young Africans. Let's step on the mantle. We can make a mark on this continent. Thank you very much. Once again, I thank my fellow panelists for showing up, and I also thank the organizers for putting this together. Thank you. I remain Solomon Ayeware on behalf of Saving Africa.
Thank you so much, Solomon. It's great to hear from your organization. We're really glad that you could be part of the series today. We're going to move into our panel session now. We are slightly over time. I'm very sorry about that. One of our panelists did have to step out, but she has sent through some of her comments and responses to questions that we sent her ahead of time. I'm just going to read those out now. So we were asking Virginia, who is very involved in sustainability, and in mentorship as well. So we'd asked her, can she provide any insight into how all these different projects can market their messages of sustainability with communities and with businesses alike. And she said that she liked how Mary approached her project. She said that she wants to involve people and ask them for their opinion and explain the problem. The key here is not to preach and to get closer to communities and businesses' issues. If we ask the right questions to understand what their issues are, we can then find a way of helping them via these projects. Education is key, as many might have the wrong idea about sustainability. They might think that it will cost them more, but we can show them that using creative solutions and thinking about a long-term view, there will be advantages for all. But again, the most important thing is to understand what specific issues communities and businesses have and what specific benefits these projects can bring to address their issues. Influencing happens when you understand your audience, you create a bond and can speak their same language. So now we're just going to move on to our other two panelists who are still with us today. Ana Le Rocha, would you mind just briefly introducing yourself? And then we've got a few questions for you, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Le Rocha. I am the executive director of an organization called Nipe Fagio here in Tanzania. We basically implement zero waste models. We have a youth ambassador program. We do marine litter surveys and gather data on waste in the country, and we do advocacy as well for a single-use plastic ban in East Africa.
Thank you, Anna. Can you provide some advice for the projects on how to reduce the flow of waste and specifically plastic into the environment? Any experiences you've had that they could then implement into their existing projects?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to say congratulations, parabéns, because I was very impressed with the narrative behind the presentations. It's not always that you actually have people addressing the plastic situation the right way, which is by basically acknowledging the fact that it's an upstream problem. It's related to the oil production, to the oil companies, and to producers in general. So I'm very, very excited to see that. I think what we need to make sure basically is that we need to increase youth advocacy. So when you are thinking about there are many things that you can do in terms of, okay, we can create employment, you can develop like a zero waste model like the one that we have here that creates employment and also does the waste management. But what we are trying to address is a systemic problem, and that requires a systemic change. And I think what we sometimes miss is actually youth advocacy to basically increase restrictions and also create incentives to productions that do not use plastics in general, but especially I think we need to start with single-use plastics. And so what I think each one of these projects could do is make sure that you dedicate a good percentage of your energy, your time, and your power to advocating with your governments to actually prevent the plastic production to happen. Because we are not going to be able by any chance, we can produce as many bricks as we want, we can produce build as many houses as we want, we can do so many things as much as we want, but we will never be able to solve this problem because the problem is still coming. It's an ongoing problem. So we need to increase advocacy. We have a coalition of organizations that are advocating for a single-use plastic ban in East Africa. I think one of the presentations mentioned that 46% of the countries in Africa, and all of them, many of them are in East Africa. We have actually, in East Africa, we have the largest number of countries that have plastic bans in the world. So we are basically advocating for a single-use plastic-free East Africa. So I'm also open to discuss with anyone that is interested if you can join that coalition and start pushing Mozambique, Uganda, to make sure that we can basically increase our voices, connect the discussion between plastics and climate, because the hot discussion right now is climate, but not many people actually connect that to the plastic situation that we have. So that would be my advice.
Thank you so much, Anna. That's very interesting to hear about your coalition. Have they had much success with the banning of plastic bags? Because I know in some instances it does lead to further use of other plastic items.
So we have different levels of success in Kenya, Rwanda, and Tanzania. Rwanda by far the most successful one, and also the one that has implemented it for the longest time. Then Kenya has basically the largest fee for plastic bags in the world. So if you actually use one of those there, you are in trouble. And then Tanzania is a little bit behind. Do you have success? Yes. So our research shows like plastic bags used to be one of the top 3 items that we find when you do marine litter surveys and waste and branch audits, and now they are not there anymore. But we have different kinds of plastic, yes, that have been entering the market, and we are still advocating to increase that ban, because we do have certain kinds of plastic bags that are still allowed, not carrier bags, but other kinds of bags. So it is still a work in progress. But I think it's a step by step, somehow. The thing is, it didn't take us too long to adapt to the use of plastic, especially if you think about Africa. We are talking about very recently, we didn't actually have this problem. But it seems like it's going to take us a little bit longer to actually adapt to not having them around. And in Africa, we have much better delivery systems. Like we actually have traditional delivery systems. And what we are doing is embracing a production system that doesn't belong to us, that doesn't fit our reality, and that is extremely harmful to us. So I hope that at some point people are going to understand that.
Thank you. That's great to hear what's happening there. And I understand what you mean. There's no one simple solution that we can apply that will fit for everything. Need a number of approaches. Mixo, our other panelist, is here with us today. Are you happy to address the next question, which is, as someone with a tech and entrepreneur background, can you suggest ways that the programs could use the digital space to further their environmental goals?
All right, thanks for the question, and morning, afternoon, depending on where you are, to everybody. So tech is very important in the times that we live in. Especially in terms of spreading information and getting things done. We've seen with lockdown, a lot of things have been closed down, access to the normal life has been like restricted. So we always have to look at different ways in terms of how do we reach other people. I've heard I think there's one particular presenter who mentioned that there are 2 in a team, but through the platforms like social media, you can increase your audience, you can increase your reach, and through things like digital skills, we can start educating more people about how to save the environment, how to better the environment, how to create sustainable solutions. So what we do from our end, we do a lot of digital challenges, which are focused on young people coming up with solutions, and we do this on a virtual front. So we are able to have challenges and competitions and run workshops and webinars with them on a virtual front. So that's another thing to approach. So we don't have to be restricted by where we are. We don't have to be restricted by the resources that we have. For example, as an organization, Geekulha, we connect with young people across the country and even across the continent as well. And we do this mostly through social media, and we've built our business through social media. So do take advantage of platforms like that. Do take advantage of different collaborative tools that you can use to work and put your work out there, and also just reach more people. So there's a lot that one can do with tech, but yeah, those are just some of the things I can just share in terms of helping young people. But also think about from an entrepreneurial side of things, how do you monetize some of your solutions? How do you reach new markets? So let's just maybe talk about monetization. You can use different e-commerce platforms that are there, to create awareness of your products, number one, but also to start selling if there is things that you are selling. To do that, there's also things like crowdfunding that you can do to help you in terms of sustaining your business as well. I'm a big advocate of social media. So where possible, talk about what you do as much as possible. Have sessions about what you do. Be a thought leader about what you do. Engage with like-minded people. So as much as movement-wise we might be slightly restricted, we can still take advantage of social media and the digital platforms. And with the projects that you guys are working on, it is very important to create awareness of them, so people are able to know that you are working within the sustainability space. They know that you might be needing some bit of assistance here and there. So crowdfunding could be one of the ways, but have a digital presence. And digital presence can be done through things like social media. Your digital presence can, the more you continuously engage with like-minded people, even LinkedIn. I've seen LinkedIn work very well in terms of creating awareness of what people are doing and getting that bit of support. There's just a whole bunch of tech tools and softwares that one can use to not limit themselves. I think once again, the presenter who mentioned that she's alone and has a designer. For those who might not have the luxury of a designer, you can use platforms like Canva. Canva is a great tool to design your own posters to market your stuff, your own business cards. There's also free platforms that you can use to design your website. So there is a lot of resources out there. It's just a matter of creating access, being aware of them and using them to market and promote your work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Just one other question before we, for you specifically, Mixo. You're very involved with Red Bull. Can you advise what they look for in a successful environmental entrepreneur?
All right, so Red Bull currently is running a challenge for students across the globe. It's called Red Bull Basement University, and the whole point of that is to challenge students, especially those on campus, to come up with solutions to make their campus life better, but also to make the general environment better. So there's challenges which are different categories, and some of the categories focus on climate change, they focus on water and sanitation, they focus on the body and mind. So those are some of the things that Red Bull is doing in terms of creating that kind of platform to say, okay, we are now challenging young people, to come up with ideas and solutions that can make their community better. For example, the team that represented South Africa last year were from PE, Port Elizabeth, and their solution was they have a generator, a solar power generator. So those in South Africa, and I've heard in Nigeria and Kenya as well, there are challenges of electricity and power cuts, and people tend to use a lot of generator to just power up. So with this, they are able to just use solar energy to power up, and you can power up your business, so your small business through they've got different devices. So that's what the challenge does. For those that are interested in it, I can share the link to access it, but essentially this supports young people and allows them to showcase their skills, but also to find ways of making the environment and coming up with sustainable solutions.
Thank you so much. I just have one other question, which I'll direct to Ana, which is, do you have any suggestions for turning a local environmental program into an international organization? So, for example, Mary's program, if it's currently at a local level, would you have any suggestions about how that could branch out and expand?
Connections. I think that what we have seen, especially in recent years, is the power of connections. I think Greta Thunberg is the greatest example of that. Starting at the extreme local level and being able to expand that by connecting with a lot of people. So what I would recommend is look for youth groups that are doing advocating for similar things outside of your area. Reach out. We have the social media there for these. We actually have some climate activists that we can find in African countries, that we can find on Instagram, that we can find on Twitter. You can also enter some global networks like Break Free from Plastic, for example, and just get connected to as many people as you can, and you'll see that the connections end up happening organically.
Wonderful. I see there is a comment that's come through from Nandi that says, thank you for these fabulous presentations. It's so encouraging to see the passion that everyone has in dealing with this plastic problem. We are passionate about education. See our children's book on plastic pollution on our website. And that's heroinmyhood.co.za. Thank you everyone so much. One final question for our two panelists and also for our presenters is, are there any possible collaborations that you're aware of that you could see the youth getting involved with today? Anna, you did allude to this in your past answer, but if there's anything you'd like to add, I think we can close with that question. Mixo has posted in the chat saying you can have a look at the basement.redbull.com for the Red Bull Basement University Challenge. Would anyone like to comment? Mixo, I see your camera's back on. Would you like to comment?
Yeah, so there are, besides the Red Bull, so the organization that we are running is called Geekulha, and through that there's a lot of collaborations we do with different sectors. So from South Africa, we collaborate with organization within the government sector. This particular organization called CPSI, and they're focused on innovative solutions. So it's just key to just check what's going on in your country, have a look at that, and have a look at which organizations can you potentially partner? I know in South Africa, there is quite a lot that you can work with. There's quite a lot that you can partner with. So if you are in the water space, there's the Water and Research Commission. So yeah, I'm happy to just share some of those contents for those that would like to collaborate.
Wonderful, thank you. And I see Anna has posted here that's saying you can follow Nipe Fagio on Instagram. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Fagio, yes.
Okay.
So Nipe Fagio is the organization that I work with. You have several resources that include for global organizations and global coalitions and African coalitions. So you can join one of them as well by seeing posts over there and seeing if the message resonates with you. Feel free to contact me as well if you'd like to discuss more. I'm always available. And there are so many global networks that you can join. Check also Greenpeace, again, check Briefly from Plastic. There are many resources and many environmentalists, and we basically feed one another with knowledge, with connections, with inspiration, because it's not necessarily easy work. I'm going to put my email here in the chat, so anyone can reach out as well.
Thank you so much. And Sadrach, I see that you have your webcam on. Is there something you'd like to add?
Yes, if we have participants here from the Nile Basin, the Nile Basin has 11 countries. So if you are part of countries around Lake Victoria and countries along the Nile Basin, we do have our science communication for young people. If you are a student, if you are an environmental student, if you are a young journalist, and you would love to create stories telling plastic pollution around Lake Victoria and the Nile Basin, you can email us. I'm going to share the email in the chat. We have an ongoing competition. The first phase is ending. We are partnering with E4Nile and Flip-Floppy. So we have another second round of competition that will be coming earlier next year. And we will be selecting people throughout the end of this year. So to join us. So please feel free to join this space. It's one way we are trying to see that we give skills back to young people to see that they can be great storytellers and journalists around the plastic pollution problem,
Okay.
as well as other resources that we'll be sharing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sadrach. I think that was it. There was a bit of feedback there, but I think you were referring to a a science communication program based around the Lake Victoria and the Nile Basin. Yes, and so there's a current competition going, and you will be supplying us with the email address if anyone is interested. They can contact Sadrach and look into that. I see he's tapping in the chat box now. That's wonderful. Okay, I think we've definitely gone a bit over time, but thank you so much everyone for bearing with us. I think we'll close off the session here today. But I think it's been really productive, and we really appreciate all your time and your efforts and all the wonderful things that your projects are looking to do, and as well our panelists and their time and expertise. I'm going to hand over to Anga again, just to close off the session for us today.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Tara. You did an amazing job. This is our webinar queen. And everyone here, I'm just really thankful for everyone speaking. Hopefully we can speak again on a bigger platform. SST is having a conference next year. So all the people that are here would love to hear more of your work and improvements on bigger platforms, and just to share knowledge continually as a unit and a network. So thank you once again to everyone, and have yourself a beautiful day, and have a long, to all the South Africans, have an amazing long weekend. And then to all the other panelists and guests, have a good weekend as well. Yeah. So that's it from my side.
Thank you so much, everyone. And if you do have any questions for the panelists or the speakers at a later stage, please feel free to email us and we can pass those along. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope to see you next week. Thank you again to all our panelists and presenters. It was wonderful to have you.